Freedom Algo, everyone. Hope you're all having an amazing Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Just watching this price action right quick. See what happens here. We actually have this up channel. It's kind of a secondary channel. We have a close outside, move to a new low right off this trend line, move up, because this is kind of a close outside right here. Depends on how you drew this, I guess. You know, doesn't sort of a close outside right there, new high, but it really comes up, makes a new high here. So it's a little dicey here. It's just a first entry short. It's kind of a higher low, but I think you got to be careful here because basically if you zoom out, let's take a look. So if you zoom out, we kind of have this up channel, close outside, two big legs to a new high, and then it kind of reverses down. So it's a dicey zone because it does look like a secondary channel is in play, like a little flatter channel working higher. But it's tough because the downtrend there had played out. This up channel has kind of played out. So you got to assume that it might go higher, but it's not guaranteed because you do have close outside two legs to a new high already, right? They're not measured legs, but they're close enough. Like you can see a big leg there, big leg there. It ends up going very slightly higher and then reverses. You can kind of see how that played out. So you don't know for sure that this flatter channel is going to stay in play. So you got to be careful. Hey, Jarvis, good to see you, fam. So everybody here, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat, where's everybody watching from? Where is everybody watching from this morning? Appreciate you all for being here. Hope everybody had a great day. It actually was kind of nice today. It was a pretty slow trading day. And not bad, though. I mean, like, just a nice little slow day. And you can see the ATR is lower. There's some decent setups. Not very many at all. But that's just how it is. All right, so this is what we had. In the overnight, you can see this brown line is actually Friday's close. Oh, John, nice. Bay Area. Nice. Haven't been down there in a while. So we got this move here, or you got this close here. We don't quite get there. We get close to it in the overnight, but anyway, that's where we closed last week. So I was thinking that would be a target. But we ended up with the overnight having a downtrend and then an uptrend. Then it kind of turned into a flatter channel. So when I came in this morning, I had this blue line, the darker blue line as my channel. Nice, Jarvis. Yep. That's awesome. Yep, I remember you saying that. That's cool. That's cool. So then here we have this move coming down. Oh, nice, Jerry. We got Southern California here, which you don't have to share exactly where, but if you want to share like which area. I've spent some time down there. I've been to like I've obviously been around LA a bunch. I've been to like the Soledad Canyon area a lot, down in that zone. I've been to Palm Desert and Palm Springs and all that too. All right. So we end up with this up channel. We have this down move here, close outside. It finally makes a new low here, and then it reverses from there. So we had this move up when I came in this morning. We were in this tight move up. It was trying to make a new high up here. It looked like it comes up, comes back, but there's just no trades in here. So let's zoom in a bit. There's really no trades in there. There's a first entry, second entry short that fails here, but I don't think you want to take that. That seems dangerous right into that high. And you can see it's just not ideal. Then you get kind of an inside bar. It's just not really like the best situation right there, in my opinion. So you just have to wait. We do come up here, and at this point, you're kind of thinking, even though we get a close outside and a new high, it was so bullish here, like so much up momentum above the EMA, that when you get this one, it's reasonable to take this. You have a pullback first entry, equal low, so above this is a second entry long. It's only a 7-tick bar right after the open. I think you're probably going to get at least a scalp there. So it's reasonable. I didn't like it personally, but it's there. You come up, you get another high here. Then it pulls back. It just a first entry long here. I was hoping for a second entry long here, but we didn't get it. So I drew this level after that. Right? I drew this level off of these closes, because now it was kind of looking like a miniature range, but we kept going higher. So I was thinking if we come back to this level, I might want to take a long. And we get a really nice one here. So you get a new high, you get a pullback, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. It is below the EMA. However, at the time, this was right off of my trend line, confirming it. It was also a triple test of this level. And so I'm thinking we're probably going to go up to the highs there. So I took this trade for 5 ticks because at the time the ATR was telling me that I should take a 5-tick profit. And you can see that is exactly what it gave us, right? Because if you went for 4 ticks here, you got it plus 1 more tick. So going for 5 ticks was all that you could go for there to guarantee the scalp, because you needed to tick through that order. So there's, to get a 5-tick scalp, if you're entering 1 tick above the signal bar, you really need 7 ticks because you're entering 1 tick above the signal bar. So right there, you need 6 more ticks because you need it to go 5 ticks, and to guarantee the fill, you need it to tick through the limit order. So that right there was basically a perfect reason of why I base my scalp targets on the ATR. Because at the time, you can see here my TP says 4.27 right now. At the time, it was telling me that my take profit should be 5.5 ticks, which really means you round it down to 5. You don't round up on those typically. With the way that I trade, whatever my TP is, I actually round down to the nearest number unless it's very close, right? So like this says 4.45. If it was like 4.95, I would just go for 5 ticks because it's like very close to 5. If it's like below like 4.8, I'm just going to go for 4 because I want to err on the side of caution, right? That's how I trade. So even though my take profit was saying like 5.4, or maybe it said 5.55, I went for 5 ticks. That's exactly what I got. I didn't get a runner. I just got 5 ticks and then it scalped out. And then my runner got stopped at break even, which is no problem. Then you get an equal low, so that's like a higher low, but then you get an inside bar next to it. There's no trade there. Now at this point, I did move my trend line down because this didn't look like a convincing close to me. So I did move my trend line down slightly, my channel here, the turquoise. And at this point, there's some failures in here, but you're not really looking for them yet. You don't know for sure if we're not going to just make a new high and reverse there, because this could be a closeout side. And it was kind of hugging the trend line. So you really need to stay out of stuff in there and just wait. Ends up going higher. Then it does clearly break the trend line there. Now, there is a second entry here. There's a new high. There's a pullback first entry, pullback second entry long that engulfs this bar. But the way that this closed, I just didn't like that because it rejected that EMA there. I didn't like that as a setup. You do get a higher low, but on my chart, it wasn't bullish enough. It was a 13-tick bar. If it closed 1 tick higher, it would have been bullish enough. But the fact that it closed right below the EMA and it closed neutral on my side, it closed in the middle 1/3, I just think you can't take that higher low. Even though it looks really good in hindsight, I don't think it's a safe trade. So I didn't mark either of those. Some people probably took them, but I don't think that they're safe. So I'm not going to mark them. Then it goes first entry, second entry short failure. But again, you're going long right into the high, so that's dangerous. Reverses here. Now, you do get a first entry, second entry long. Now, this one's decent because it is like a closeout side and new low of this channel. It is off the EMA. The only problem here is that you just got a closeout side and a new high. So this could easily fail on you. It could turn into a failure and dump down because we just got closeout side and a new high on the up channel. We don't know for sure that we're going to form a flatter channel going higher. So taking a long here is very risky in my opinion. It's still decent, like it qualifies, but you are taking on some risk. It's not a sure thing at all. I think if you got a higher low here, like instead of this big bullish bar, if you just got like a nice higher low bullish bar, then I would say it was a little safer. But it's still not ideal. But it still fits the criteria. You can take that. You just have to know for sure that it's not 100% that that's going to go higher because it could be that we made the new high and we're going to reverse following the trend line rules. Ends up going higher. This ends up creating 2 legs to a new high. Goes just a little higher and reverses. Now, here's where we're at now. We have this down move. You can't take the second entry long here because you're in a down channel. And you can see it fails anyway. Close outside new low. That was right off that trend line. But you see, like, this trend line is kind of weak. See how we're breaking through it here? It's like, yeah, could it be a slightly wider one? Yeah, I mean, it could be. Like, it could be like this, right? It could be that we have a channel like this, but I don't want to keep on flattening the channel. So if it doesn't hold right here, I'm going to say we got our 2 legs to a new high, and we might just be forming something else now. And we might just have to wait and see what it does. But there's not really any setups in here that I like. There's a first entry, second entry short. You're not looking for that. Let's see if this holds right here. You actually have a new high here, so this is technically a second entry long, but it's kind of on an inside bar. If this breaks lower, though, and closes lower, I'm just going to delete this flatter channel and say that that we already played out. Cube. Yeah, sometimes those do hold if you zoom way out. You can do those. Like, sometimes you can draw them from the low. Something like that, you know, something like that. You can also draw it from here, probably. From Friday, right? Something like this. Let's see how it fits. Probably something like that. Right? You can draw these if you want. Like, you can play these. But they're not always the most helpful because, I mean, like, let's say you draw this today. Well, like, you don't really get any setups. Like, you don't even come back to the midline, right? So it's kind of like, it doesn't really, like, do much for you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's like, all right, yeah, it's there. But you don't even come back to this midline throughout this whole pretty much trading session. So it doesn't really do a lot for you unless you come down to this level down here at some point. So yeah, I mean, I don't really love those, to be honest. If you drew it from that low, from Friday's low, which is way back here. Let's see. If you draw it from all the way back here, let's see if we get anything a little bit better. Yeah, see, it's the same thing. It doesn't really help you. That's not perfect, but it doesn't really help you that much. So that's the whole thing with those giant channels. Like, I generally don't find that they're... Yeah, I think that they can be good for, hey, there's an overall upward bias in the market. But yeah, they generally aren't giving me many setups, so I'm not really going to look at them too much. We'll see if this ends up holding. It looks like it is trying to hold here. So let's see what happens here. That's actually a second entry long with a higher low. This equal low, you can treat as a higher low. So technically, we actually have a second entry long. We have a new high here. And so you could actually say pullback, first entry, pullback, second entry long. It went through the inside bar. So second entry long comes back, gives us an equal low. That's a higher low right there. ATR is low right now. So we actually would need this to go only for 4 ticks if we were going to target a 4-tick trade. I just think it's a little dicey, though. You already made the new high. You're struggling to even get back to this midline. You really are getting kind of tight in here. Yeah, I don't love that. I wouldn't be taking this right now. I think you're just trying to pick stuff at that point. Like, this isn't really like that great of a setup because this flat channel is not very much confirmed. We had to lower the channel to make it fit, which makes it less than ideal. And if I'm going to trust this channel, it's going to need to kind of go up really high, come back and probably test it again for me. I just don't like it. So I don't think you want to take anything in here. I think you just got to be patient. So if you didn't get one of these other setups today, you pretty much have been sitting around. And that's just what it is today. I only took one, and it was the green arrow trade, and that's it. So I got one trade today. It's a one and done for me. That's what you get sometimes, you know? That's what you get sometimes. And you can see this is really struggling in here. Even after the higher low, it didn't really take off. So you just got to be real careful here. Yeah, and Cube, it is good to see you as always. Good to see everybody here today. If you got questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Oh, by the way, real quick, tomorrow's stream will be shortened because I have an appointment that I have to get to by like 9:15 or something. So I'm going to stream tomorrow at the normal time at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, but I'll probably only make the stream like 20 minutes long or so. It'll probably be like 15 minutes, maybe 25 minutes at the most, and then I'll have to end the stream tomorrow. Today I can go on for longer if we've got questions. We'll see what happens here. And quick reminder to everybody, if you want to learn more about what I do, check it out in the description here. Let me move this over so it doesn't block the price action. It's in the description. It's in the chat. This is the school community, school.com/freedomalgo. This is the about page. 5-minute video there explaining what's all involved. There's some stuff in here. $127 a month. It's got everything that you need to learn this type of trading. There's a ton of stuff in here. I can't go through all of it, but there's a calendar. We have our call this week on Wednesday. So we have our live Zoom call that we do. Those get recorded. They get put in here. The full course. We had our Freedom Collective call this past week, so that was cool. Everything is in here, so definitely check it out. You can see throughout the session. This is the session. I post all the trade results. I explain stuff. You get access to the Discord, so you can follow along in real time. Everything is in there, so if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, but that's where you can learn everything that I do. So we do have, again, the first entry, second entry, higher low, and now we're making another higher low, but this is so sideways and tight. It's not super convincing. This is it's probably going to work. So if you did take that higher low, it looks like it would have worked, but I think you're playing with fire a little bit there. I really do. I'm reluctant to even mark that one. I wouldn't take it personally. I mean, you can argue it follows the rules, you know, but look at that. Like, you'd still be struggling to get a 4-tick scalp. It would be tapping your limit order right now, and you still need it to tick through. Look at how hard it's having. Look at how hard of a time it's having if you took that. You would have been sitting in this thing. There it goes. So it triggers. So we can mark it, but I don't know. I don't think it's ideal, to be honest. So I'm going to just tell you that straight up. This is a higher low after a second entry long, but there's a lot of reasons to not love that because we came off these highs. We don't know for sure this flat channel is going to hold. We have to move it. So again, you got to be careful with those. You really do. It's best to just wait for the sure things most of the time. And some yellow arrow trades are better than others. This is not one of those that are ideal in my opinion. But again, I know some people probably took it. And they're not wrong. It's just, it's not a sure thing. So I like to make sure that I specify that when I think it's like more of a sure thing or not. Like earlier when I took this green arrow trade right here. Like I was confident in that trade, right? Like I was like, yeah, I'm good to go here. Like I wasn't like, oh no, like is this gonna be like, you know, I knew, like as soon as I got into the trade, I put the green arrow on the chart. I knew it was a green arrow trade. I knew it was good. I knew I was gonna get filled. I wasn't like worried. I was just like, all right, cool. Yeah, Roman, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. There is a failure there, yes, but I don't like to really call that a failure that I'd trade because it forms below the EMA, and this is an equal low, so to really call this a failure is kind of a stretch, unless you look, because if you look at this, this is a double bottom. right here. And this is an inside bar. So you can't really look at this like a first entry short, second entry short, without like really stretching the limits of what we do here. Because this bar that makes this low, it literally is engulfing both of these bars pretty much. It's an equal low, but higher high there. So you really have to reset your count here. So it's just a first entry short that fails is what that is. It's not really, in my opinion, a failed second entry short. I wouldn't look at it like that. I would just look at this as a first entry short anyway. So actually what I'd be looking at here is first entry short. We might actually still get a failed second entry short. Which could actually be a good setup. If it comes back to like the EMA and the trend line and then goes higher on a higher low, that would be like a failed second entry short from there. That would be a little bit nicer, unless this moves too high. Then it's not going to be ideal, which it might. If it goes up to the highs, then it's still not going to be ideal. But yeah, I mean, look, there's some reasons to like this, but this is pretty congested here. I mean, you can't even really argue too much around this because it kind of looks like this, right? It looks like a range. Now, to be fair, even if it is a range that is forming there, you do have room to the high. You have enough room to the high to get your scalp. So there's reasons to like it, but it's just, again, it's not ideal in my opinion. So I have to make sure I'm specific on that. If I didn't have to move my trend line to make it fit there, I would have liked this more. But it just didn't look like it was respecting it that well. So, and again, don't forget, when you have a big up channel like this one earlier, that does confirm, and then you get a close outside and you already get 2 legs to a new high, and it starts to come down, and then this is a lower high again. You don't know for sure, and this is not what happened, but you don't know for sure that it might be over, and you might start to form something. You know, you might start to form something like a little like flat down channel that keeps going, right? You don't know for sure that you're not going to form that there. You don't have enough confirmations yet. So, and you can see here actually that this channel is not getting respected. I mean, look at this. Yeah, see, like it's not. Now it looks like this is clearly closed outside at this point. Now you got to wonder, are we going to form some sort of a range? Like, we don't know yet, right? We don't know. I'll leave that where it was, and we'll wait and see how this plays out here. There's a first entry long there. You got the close outside of this up channel. You don't have a new high made yet, I don't think. Yeah, the high would be this blue line right here. Yeah, so you got a first entry long. I'm not taking a second entry long here. That seems sketchy. Let's be aware of some down levels here. We'll be aware of this level as a possibility. Oops, I spilled a little bit. And Roman, I don't know if I've seen your name in the chat before, so welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome. Or if it's just your first time participating in the chat, either way, good to have you. I don't recognize your name. There's some people come and go over time, so it's sometimes hard to remember everybody, but I don't remember seeing your name. So, welcome. So here we go. We're getting the second entry long on an inside bar, which is not ideal. Really, for me, I would want to see it break above this bar to be the second entry long, because it's just, this is all inside this bigger bar. Hey, KP. Good to have you here. You know, yeah, it's a first entry. It's kind of a second entry long above this bar now, but it's just kind of inside stuff. I don't love that. And again, I'm not looking to go long here anyway. Like, we already made a new high, and we're kind of coming down, so we just gotta sit tight. It's a sit on your hands type day. There's not a lot of setups, but there's some good. There are some good ones if you just waited. I mean, that the green one was the only great one, but these other ones aren't terrible. They're just not ideal. I like that sometimes. I'm actually pretty pretty stoked on it because it's nice to have a little bit of a break from the crazy volatility we've been having. I think it's like a nice little change of pace. Some people would argue, you know, there's less setups, whatever, but it's more chill. So I don't mind that. I don't mind a chill Monday. I'll take a chill Monday. You know, the market likes to do what she wants, and we just roll with it. That's what it is. She's got a lot of personalities. And you just got to realize that. Sometimes it's going to be super volatile and intense, and sometimes she's going to be pretty chill. Classic. Making myself laugh over here. All right, so you see what happens there, right? Failed second entry long on that inside bar. We got to draw a down channel here from this high. You can't ignore this down channel forming. This level is not getting respected very well. We'll draw off of that low as a possibility, but not really getting respected. We're going to draw this as a down channel. We don't need this level on here. That was just to show something. We'll shrink this channel. We could get a new high on that channel still. But we might not get that right now because that was just a move to a new high already. So we just got to wait here. We got to wait. We got a huge amount of space below us to Friday's close. That would be an epic drop if that happened. But I wouldn't bank on that or anything. Let's just wait and see. Who's got questions? Drop them in the chat, fam. Drop the questions in the chat if you got them. Welcome everybody who just popped in. If you haven't done so already, please smash up the likes. Yeah, I saw that, KP. I saw that Trump is speaking. I don't think it's anything that intense, to be honest. It's nothing that wild. It's like he's talking at what time? 8 o'clock was when it said. Trump. It just says Trump greets Australia's Prime Minister. I don't really think that that's a big deal, to be honest. We don't really have that much big news this week or big releases until later. I don't think. Like, there's nothing tomorrow that's that intense. Not really anything here. Unless you trade crude oil. Obviously, the Wednesday crude oil inventories are always volatile. Thursday, nothing there. The only thing is this, which is kind of weird, actually. I don't know who made this decision to make Friday the CPI release. Because almost always, the CPI has been on Wednesdays, right? Like, oh, Trump mentioned China. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah, here it is. You're right. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so he's... Yeah, you know, that's not surprising. But even so, that was really, like... It's not that volatile. It's just a little bit. It did increase volatility, but it's nothing that crazy. The biggest thing is going to be Friday. Because Friday, we're going to have CPI. I don't know who made that decision to make CPI on a Friday. Like I said, it's almost always on a Wednesday, and then usually we have PPI on a Thursday. So we always have CPI Wednesday, PPI Thursday, and then usually on Friday we get this University of Michigan sentiment. That's almost always on a Friday. I think it is always on a Friday. But, like, this is weird because we're getting CPI data on Friday at 5:30, an hour before the open. Then 15 minutes into the open, we're getting the services PMI. And then 15 minutes after that, 30 minutes in the open, we get the University of Michigan. So Friday is going to be absolutely bonkers. So we're going to have to be real careful on Friday. Everybody keep this in mind. Friday is going to be bonkers price action. The rest of the days this week are pretty mild. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that. All right, close outside of this down channel here. We'll see if this level holds. Oh, he's live taking questions. Okay, gotcha. Oh, sorry, I missed those comments. Cube, that is called a steel mace. It's called a steel mace. So here, I'll show you. Let me show you. This is what I... Oh, wait, let me find it. Trying to find it. It looks like they're sold out. This is what it is. Here, I'll bring it over. They might be sold out, but this is what it is. It's called a steel mace. It's from this company on it. This is a blog post on it, but this is what it is. It's there's a video on it. It's basically an old military it's called a gata or a gata. I don't know. Here, let me see. How to pronounce. I don't know how to. Let's see how to pronounce this because I got no clue. Gata. Okay, gata. So it's gata. I just didn't want to butcher it. No, it's not really. So it's a gata. It's a weapon. It is a weapon, but the thing is, it's so it says it right here. The Hindu soldiers in India would wield maces. That's what they used. But they were just bamboo sticks with stones on the end. So they were more lightweight with a heavy end. But when they started to practice actual fighting with it, they would train with a heavier version of it, so that when they went into battle, they had a lighter thing, right? So yeah, it's basically like a big long barbell with a heavier weight on the end. And here you can see, like, I don't know if it shows. There's all different types of workouts, and this is just like an article on them. There's just an article on them here. You can see people working out with them. And there's all different weights. So the one that I have is 15 pounds, which is actually way heavier than it sounds because it's like really long. So when you swing it around over your head, it's actually pretty heavy. So the one I have is 15 pounds. I think they go up to 20 pounds, I think is the heaviest one that they have. Yes, I do. I swing it around. I do all different kinds of exercises. That's what I do. And then I wear a weighted vest as well on those walks. So I'm usually wearing a weighted vest and have a steel mace. And that's just part of how I do some of my, like, little bit of, like, it's just like a little bit of exercise. When I swing it around and stuff, like, I do some workouts with the weighted vest on. Like, I do, like where, like, you do, like, different, like, swings and stuff. But I can't swing it all the way over my head when I have the weighted vest on because the weighted vest is too restrictive. So I do a lot of those without the weighted vest on. But it's just like, I think warrior training is pretty important, right? As a man. I think, like, that type of training is very important. Like, you know, it's very practical, like, warrior type training. It kind of brings us back to, like, the way that, like, we probably are hardwired, right? So, like, I think, like, doing exercises like I trained in Muay Thai for a long time, and I still train, like, at the gym on the heavy bag. I have, like, my Muay Thai gear, and I train with, like, my Muay Thai gloves, and I use, like, boxing and Muay Thai on the bag. I think that type of workout is really important, is, like, punching, kicking, throwing knees. I think trail running, like moving, like, nimbly through the forest, using the steel mace, that kind of stuff is like warrior training, and I think it's really good for us as men. I actually think that I think it does something different than when I just lift weights. I do lift weights too, like I bench press and do all that. But I think that it does something different when you do, like, the warrior type training. What is this? I don't know. Guts from Berserk. I don't get the reference. I don't get the reference. I think part of it just has to do with how I grew up too. Like, you know, like I grew up in the, I was born in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s, you know, watching movies like Bloodsport and Mortal Kombat and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's just kind of wired in. Like Rocky, like the Rocky movies. Like, I don't know. There's just something about that, like, just epic. Those epic, like, fight movies that is just so, like, motivational to me. So I like to work out like that. It makes it more fun for me. I also think it's good for testosterone and stuff. But anyway, I know this is supposed to be about trading, but that is all related to trading in my opinion, because all that stuff comes into how I take care of myself to stay consistent as a trader. Massive sword from an anime. I'll have to ask my my son about that. I have a teenage son and he's real into anime, so he might know what that. He'll probably know what that is. I actually want to get another steel mace. I want to get a lighter one, like a 10-pounder, so that I can one-hand swing it. The 15-pound is pretty dangerous to do that with. But I've seen some exercises where people use like a 7-pound or a 10-pound, and you can do like a lot more like cool like movements that look really fluid. It's cool though. It's like kind of graceful, like the steel mace workouts. It's like actually pretty cool. It's like a whole art form in itself. I do the same thing with kettlebells. Like I have like certain kettlebell workouts that are like that. Because I learned kettlebells way back in the day. I actually started working out with kettlebells. I'm not even exaggerating. In 2005. I've been using kettlebells for 20 years now. For over 20 years. And it's because I started doing Muay Thai in, I think, 2004. Actually, so I probably started using kettlebells in 2004. I started doing Muay Thai in about 2004, right around 2005-ish. And the person who trained me, he was from Russia. And he was from Russia, and he used to call them Russian kettlebells. I don't know if they're originated in Russia or not, but he was using kettlebells way before. It was like before CrossFit was popular and all these other things that made kettlebells popular. And he taught us how to use kettlebells in Muay Thai workouts. And he would do all this wild stuff where he's like juggling the kettlebell and doing all these wild movements. And that's how I learned kettlebells. So I have kettlebells as well. And I really stand by those. I like them a lot more than barbells and stuff. Anyway. To those of you who don't want to nerd out about working out, sorry. So you can see here, we kind of have this like sideways bias right now. This is a second entry short right here, by the way. I totally didn't even mark this. Is it one that you could take? Yes. Again, not ideal. Not ideal. You don't have a lot of space to those lows. You'd probably get, that's a failure anyway. It's like, because when you get these legs, so no, I shouldn't have said yes. When you get these legs like this, where it's just like, that's your first entry short, it looks like one leg there, right? It looks like a one leg move. This now looks like a two-legged move. No, you don't want to take that. You just came off those lows. You don't want to take that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. You want to be patient. It's like on days like this, my brain is like, oh, let me look for every setup, but it's just not the move. You just got to just take what the market gives you, and that's how it works. All right, if you got questions, drop them in the chat. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Yeah, it does look rangy. I think you really need like triple tests or something else to take something here. I got my dog snoring in the background. If anybody has not hit the like button yet, please do so now. Let's get this thing up. We only got 10 likes. This is abysmal. Abysmal. The market went to sleep today. And so did the stream, I guess. Classic. All right, if you got questions, put them in the chat. If you have questions that you want to ask me in Discord, it's there. Matt, good to see you, fam. Good to see you. I'm doing very well. Hope you are as well. Today's going to be one of those days where after the stream, I pretty much just head straight to the gym. I'm planning on doing a Muay Thai workout on the heavy bag and then doing some sauna. That's the plan. That's the plan. Got to do it this time of year. Yeah, Cube, I would say just, you know, you can keep an eye on it, but don't put too much weight into those giant channels. You got to be careful with those. Pay attention to the short term, of course. Matt, that's good to hear that you're doing all right. If you're here, definitely hit that like button. I'm going to light some incense real quick. Get that going. Sorry, I just got to deal with something real quick. But if you got questions, put them in the chat. Sorry, I'm just dealing with something real quick. I'm here, but I just have to, I gotta just deal with something real fast on my phone. So if you got questions, put them in the chat, and I'll be back in a sec. All right, my bad, everybody. All right, Jarvis, I'll see you tomorrow. Glad you had a good day. I'll see you tomorrow, so thanks for joining today, of course. I am back. Sorry about that, everybody. We do have a triple test. Equal lows there, so interesting one, because you kind of get a triple test and then another equal low. It's kind of like a higher low. And then this is another equal low, kind of like a higher low. So that's interesting. That's interesting. If you did draw, even if you drew this, you don't have a new low made on that original channel over there. There's kind of a little micro thing here. It's okay, but I just feel like this is just not ideal the way this price action is right here. So I think you just kind of have to. All right. Yeah, KP, it is getting bought up, but like you can see we are making lower highs here and we're not coming up to the highs. So it's hard to take a long when we are making lower highs like this. It's not like behaving like a range where the highs and lows are consistent. All right. Guitar guy, good to have you. How do I... All right, let me see. Well, I think that that's a reasonable way to go. I think that's reasonable. As long as you can be very, very disciplined, I think it's reasonable. So yeah, I think what you're asking is a reasonable way to approach it if you can stay disciplined, and that's the key. If you can stay disciplined. Because a lot of people use it as a way to completely over-leverage themselves. I've had the discussion around that so many times, though, so I would say if you want to like hear my thoughts on a lot of that, definitely check out the previous streams that I've done, because I've talked about that quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we are just making lower highs on these swings. We're just not quite getting anywhere. Here, look, let's delete these levels. And do this. Just to show this. You could even probably, if you wanted to, just use this. Let's see, it's like, you see what I mean? Like, there's not really a high that's consistent here. This maybe is a midline if you use this high. It's like if you shrink this thing down to this high, it's like we're not even getting to the midline then. If you try to use this as a failed breakout and you use this level, which is this close and this touch, which seems somewhat reasonable, because if you drag this over, it lines up to this. But then still, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird one because you're still not even getting to the midline. It's just like, I'm weary of taking any sort of long if we're not even able to get back to the highs of the range. So that's what I mean there. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. So you said you wanted a failed second entry short above the EMA. Yeah, I mean, there's a first entry. I mean, I guess you could have one. We are coming up to the possible top of the range here. If we do come up here and we find an area that it connects to, then maybe we can treat this like just a range and we can find some setups. But I'm starting to get a little more confidence now that we're back above this midline. So let's see. Now, this is the first possibility of the high. It might be higher. We'll have to wait and see. Guitar guy, you're saying you just want to use a prop so you're able to put the payouts in your personal Ninja Trader account. Yeah, I think that that's a good way to do it if you can stay disciplined. That's basically all I mean. If you can stay disciplined, I think it's totally a reasonable way to go. I think that's the goal that most people have with those firms, like, because you always have more control of your own finance with your own money. So I think that, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the problem is here, KP, is that, like, it's really hard to argue for, like, it's really hard to argue that there's, like, a trend channel. I mean, you can kind of draw that, but it's really hard to argue for that to be, like, a legit channel, because you could also just say, like, really, it's more like this. You know, and you're already getting a closed new high. It's just dicey to really try to make a channel there. Just, like, this is so consolidated. You might get the failure here above the EMA, but I don't look for failures in the middle of a range ever. Just no way for me. Absolutely not. Range rules are range rules. You got to play the range rules. You're not that's failures are for, like, trend line rules, not for range rules. And even if a failure happens here, I don't think it's a good trade. Even if it works, I don't think it's a good setup. That's my opinion, you know? Your mileage may vary. So if you're here and you got questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Oh, sorry, that wasn't even KP. My bad. That was Cube. I'm sorry, sorry, KP. I mixed up your names. That was Cube who was talking about the failure, not KP. Sorry about that. My bad. Yeah, I mean, I have so that was my mistake there. Sorry, I mixed that up. And yeah, you said NQ's consolidating. Yeah, probably. They probably both are. They pretty much do the same stuff as each other anyway. NQ and ES. They're almost never moving in different directions. Sorry, I was just messaging with my developer. We're trying to work on a minor thing with the second entry counter that's in the Freedom Algo tools for NinjaTrader. We're just trying to work on a minor technical thing to fix, to make it so that it doesn't add. There's a certain thing where it adds sometimes a second entry label in a spot that's not really a second entry. So we're just trying to fix it. All right. Hey, Dix. Good to have you here. Do I use... No, I just use the 2000 tick chart. The only time I look at higher time frames is if I'm swing trading something else. So I do look at other time frames for other assets. Well, guitar guy, that's probably because you're Xing out of... So this is just a simple thing with NinjaTrader. If that's happening, what it means is that you're pressing X up here at the top of your chart. You're Xing out of the chart and then saving, which you're not supposed to do. You want to save your workspace after you set it up. And then when you exit out of NinjaTrader, exit from the NinjaTrader control center with your chart still open. Because if you X out of your chart and then you exit and save, you literally save your workspace without the chart. So you X out from the control center. This is a common issue that happens with people all the time. Yeah, KP. Price action's not great here. It was better earlier. Now it's just kind of consolidated and sideways. Not a lot of volatility, just pretty slow. You can see we're not really getting a consistent high up here. We are getting some level of consistency on the lows, but I don't have a lot of confidence because the highs are not, we're not getting very high. So if you take a long, you're not guaranteed that it's going to go up there because it just keeps failing. So, yeah, I mean, that just might be it. I think we just might need to wrap up we might just need to wrap up the stream soon because there's not really a lot going on here. It does look like something's happening now. So let's see. Let's see what the lows do here. It's been a one and done for me. I had one trade. That was it. Good trade, but whatever. I mean, yeah, you can. You can get some quick scalps here and there. I mean, they're there, but I only mark the ones that I see as valid setups. I don't like to mark stuff that I think is really questionable. I'll mark stuff that's not perfect, But I don't like to mark stuff that's like, I don't like to stretch the rules at all. Cube, pricing. You took 3, close exactly at target daily profits. Hey, good. 3 6-tick scalps. Hey, good for you. Good for you. Sounds like a good day for you. I took 1 trade and it was a 5-tick scalp and that's it. Anybody got any more questions? Drop them in the chat. If you got questions about Freedom Algo, like the membership or any of that, you can drop those in the chat too. Happy to answer whatever while we're here, or pull something up or show it or whatever. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's in the chat and the description, and it's this. It's my entire methodology and program for learning all this. So if you have questions on it, go ahead and drop them in the chat. And again, quick reminder, tomorrow's stream will be a little shorter because I have an appointment. So the stream tomorrow is only going to be like 15 to 20 minutes long. I'm just going to go over the price action of where and the trades for the day, and then I'm just going to have to end it. Cube, you're happy we talked about the mace today. Yeah, hey, anytime I get to talk about that kind of stuff is fun for me. I will say sometimes if I'm, because I go for these walks and I go down the trails, sometimes people will give me really weird looks, and like they're like almost like nervous because I'm like walking around with this giant mace. But you know, what are you gonna do? Mike, yeah, it's really simple. I don't know how else to explain it. When you have your chart open and set up, and then you have your NinjaTrader workspace open. Here, let me see if I can. I don't think there's a way for me to do it. I can't show you my. I'm not going to show you my NinjaTrader Control Center because it has like my personal account information on it. So I'm just not going to do that. But what you want to do is you want to pull up the NinjaTrader Control Center. That's the area where it shows you like your account balances and all that. And right there's a thing called workspaces, and you save from there. So after your chart is all set up, you save, and then when you X out, just press X on the NinjaTrader Control Center and it closes everything, including your chart. But don't close out of your chart and then close out of NinjaTrader and save, because you'll basically be saving your workspace without the chart. So just close from the NinjaTrader Control Center. Make sure that's where you X out. So that way it closes everything all at once. I don't know. I think that's it. Yeah, exactly, Cube. They think that I'm like walking. They think I'm like carrying like a rifle with a bunch of ammo or something. I think that's what they think. Mike, I don't really understand. Yeah, I don't know, like, the NinjaTrader Control Center is just like it's the little window that's always there that comes up that shows you like your account balances and your positions and all that. It's always there when NinjaTrader's open. I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry. I wish that, like, here, let me see if I can. Let me pull up NinjaTrader so I can show you. Here, look. The Control Center is the default window which appears when NinjaTrader is first installed. It will always be displayed while NinjaTrader is running. It's where it shows you your account, execution, orders. It's where you save your workspace. It's literally just like a little rectangle window that has all of the things. It's where you have your tools, settings for the platform. I don't know. It's always there when you have NinjaTrader open. So if I don't know how else to, like, I literally don't even know how to tell you to get there. It's just always open when you have NinjaTrader open. Like, yeah. Anyway, so I'm sorry. I wish I had a better way to explain it, but I just don't, because it's just always there. And the thing is, like, the guide that I have on YouTube is a free guide. I mean, I have a much more in-depth tutorial on how to set things up in the actual course. Yeah, in here. In the actual course, there's a set up the chart and the tools that I built for it. And that's a little bit more in-depth, and it shows all that stuff too. So I don't know, yeah, I don't know how else to really talk about it. Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't know how else to even explain it. You can probably find like a video from NinjaTrader themselves on like setting up NinjaTrader that will like show you more menus. I just can't show it on mine because I don't want all of my like account information to be displayed, you know? That's so like I have to kind of like not show that part of the tutorial. Yeah, and Cube explained it. Yeah, for sure. Just go to their YouTube and like watch a video on like how to set it up, and then that might fill in the gap of what you're missing maybe. Because NinjaTrader has a lot of good tutorials and stuff on there. My video is specifically on how to set it up for price action trading, but it's not like, it's not really built for like, hey, this is your first time ever opening NinjaTrader. What do you see? It's not really built like that. My other video in my course is more like that. Yeah, I do my best with the free stuff on YouTube. I did my best with it, but you know, the more advanced stuff and like the more specific stuff and all that is definitely in my course. That's just the way it is. We are rejecting this level here pretty consistently, but yeah, it's just kind of like we just don't have very consistent highs. Besides, like right now, we do kind of have a little triple there, but you're not looking to take that with this little up channel still in play. So that's how I see it. And if you got questions, drop them in the chat, fam. I got to check something real fast. Alright, my bad. My bad. Sean, is there a confirmed slight downtrend? I looked at that before. I would say no, because you have this high and this high, but you can see this high right here is higher than this one, and this high is higher than this one, so no. There's higher highs happening here. On the grand larger swings, no, but I wouldn't call it that. I wouldn't call it that. I mean, sometimes you do get what's called like a biased range, where you'll get like a sort of like something that looks like this. Like, I see what you're saying, because like you could go like this and you could be like, oh, that looks like a slight downtrend. This is more like a biased range, right? But even so, we are making higher highs and higher lows on some of these swings right here. This low, this low, this low. You see, there's actually a higher low on those two swings and a higher high on those two swings after that there. So you got to be careful there. I would just look at this as a range, but it just doesn't have a very consistent high and low right now. Has a consistent low, but not a consistent high, actually. All right, Guitar Guy, you finally got your NinjaTrader set like you want. Every time you adjust something, you make sure, save your workspace. Now, yeah, that's what you got to do. You always save your workspace before you close. That's what you got to do. I think you got it right. Yeah, it is. I mean, if this is the high, but we still aren't touching it. So we don't know for sure where it's going to go here. I mean, you can play range rules here. But, you know, like for example, now here we go. Here we go. This is what we've been waiting on. This is what we've been waiting on. To see if this blue line is going to be holding here. We are getting a close outside of this uptrend, right? So let's see what we do here. Because we've been waiting for this for a while now. I'll zoom out like that so you can see it. Okay, that held decent. So we'll see. That seems promising. Like it basically could be that this is just its own range over here. This whole level. This whole area, right? But we don't know yet. We gotta wait and see what this does. I mean, realistically for me, I think we're coming up here. I mean, like, we probably need a new high on this separate channel over here. Realistically, I still have an upward bias overall. Everybody likes to start thinking short, but after moves like that, but yeah, I have an upward. The trends always go further than you think. I don't know what happened on this stream, man. We lost 3 subscribers since we started. That's weird. Who knows? Who really knows? All right, so we're making an equal high there. They got scared of the mace. Yep, I think you're right. They're like, who is this kook? Who is this kook? This level still could be in play, like right there. Still fits. Up like 1 tick. Yep, gotta stay with the trend and the bias. Yeah, that sucks, Cube. That sucks. I've actually never had poison oak, poison ivy, any of that. I might be immune to it. Some people are immune to it. Because I've spent like my whole life going into the woods and I've just never had it. And I like go trail running in shorts and all that, and I've just never had it. Alright, I think that's probably going to wrap up, guys. I don't see any other... I don't really... I mean, like, you can watch this. You can keep an eye on it. Be aware of the possible levels. Basically, what you can do in times like this is draw out some possibilities, right? Like, what I'll do is I'll go like this. Draw out some, like, possible levels. It could even be, like, up here, like this level, and this could be a failed breakout because it taps there, there, there. So draw out some possible levels and just see what happens if we come to those levels. That's basically the way I look at it. Just be aware of that. Be aware of that. Yeah, it sounds like Cube, like you were in somewhere that, yeah, bummer. I don't know which part of the US you're in, but I know in some areas, like I used to live in this one area where they had these little bugs. Here, let me see if I can show you. They had these bugs here called, some people call them, I think some people call them berry bugs. Like there's these type of mites that are called, Scientific name is Trumbiculidae, but they're commonly referred to as chiggers, Chiggers. They're a type of harvest mite, and they bite you and they leave these little tiny red dots on you that get super itchy. I used to live in a part of the US that had them. They're really annoying. I wonder if that could be what it is. You get them sometimes on trails. They like get on you and you get these little tiny, they're super small. They look like a little tiny brown dot when you have them on you, and they bite you and they irritate your skin. And a lot of times people get bit by those and they think they have like poison ivy or something. Yeah, sand fleas, that's another one that does that too. Yep. Out near Big Sur. I don't know what would be near Big Sur, so yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think that you would have chiggers there. They're usually, I dealt with them mainly on the East Coast. Oh, gotcha. It could be. Could be a spider bite. Could be. Sorry to hear that, though. Yeah, look at this. We're getting a lower high off this level. So that's interesting because you got the equal high. Now you're getting a lower high. I mean, now this is looking pretty consistent. But again, it's just like so, like we're so close to these highs. Just so dicey in this. So dicey. But yeah, anyway. Sweet. Glad you have fun out there. All right, I'm going to wrap up the stream here, everybody. I'll get us set up for tomorrow. And hope everybody had a great day and a great weekend. And I will see you all tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.